It was a cold night. The sky was dark, filled with clouds. The stars were hidden, and the streets were empty. In the corner of a quiet human city, a strange girl sat on the doorstep of a house. She didn't knock. She didn't speak. She just curled up and closed her eyes, trying to sleep. Her clothes were old and torn. Her hair was messy. Her skin had a soft glow, not like normal humans. Her eyes, bright blue, held a sadness too deep for words. No one knew where she came from, and no one ever opened the door. Every night, she went to a new house, a new doorstep. She waited quietly, hoping someone would care, but the doors stayed closed. People looked through the window and locked the door tighter. They were afraid of her. She wasn't one of them. Some said she was an alien. Some said she was a ghost, but no one tried to talk to her. No one asked her name. She didn't even remember her own name. All she knew was this. Her world was gone. Once, long ago, she had a home. A planet far from here. She had a family. A sky with 3 suns. But war came, loud, burning, bright. Her people were hunted. Her city was destroyed. She escaped in a small ship, alone. She fell to Earth, a strange world full of fear and silence. Since then, she had been sleeping on doorsteps, waiting. One night, the wind was colder than before. Her feet were bare. Her fingers shook. She looked weak, tired, lost. She sat down near a wooden door in a quiet street, near the edge of the city. This door felt different. She didn't know why. The light inside was soft, not harsh. The sound from inside was calm like music. But still, she didn't knock. She was afraid. They will close the door again, she whispered to herself. She closed her eyes and leaned against the wall, inside the house. A man was watching from behind the curtain. He looked about 40. His eyes were sharp but kind. His face showed surprise, not fear. He had seen her picture before long ago, in a file that was not meant for anyone to see. He opened the door slowly. The girl opened her eyes. Light hit her face. She moved back quickly, afraid. But the man didn't shout. He didn't close the door. He knelt down, looked at her and said softly, "Come inside, forever." The girl didn't move. She stared at him. Her heart beat fast. No one had ever said those words to her. No one had ever opened the door. She looked behind him. Warmth, food, a soft chair, light, safety. But she also saw something else. A photo on the wall, blurry but real. A photo of her, taken long ago, before the war. Before she fell to earth. She stood up slowly. "Do you know me?" she asked in a quiet voice. The man nodded. His eyes didn't lie. "Yes," he said. "I've been waiting." She stepped into the house. It felt like stepping into a memory. The door closed behind her. In that moment, the street outside fell. Silent, a soft wind blew, and the stars came out again. But far away, in the sky above, something was watching. A small light blinked in the clouds. A signal, a warning. The girl was not alone, and her story was just beginning. The house was too quiet. She sat on the edge of the couch, hands still cold. The fire in the corner gave a soft glow, but it couldn't warm the strange feeling in her chest. This wasn't a normal place. And he wasn't a normal man. He walked in with a cup of warm tea, slowly, carefully, like he didn't want to scare her. But she was already scared, not of him, of the truth. "Here," he said, handing her the cup. She looked at him, her blue eyes searching his face. Why was he so calm? Why did he have a photo of her on his wall, taken before she ever came to this world? "Who are you?" she asked softly. He smiled, but it wasn't a happy smile. It was heavy, like someone holding a secret for too long. "I'm someone who made a promise," he said, "a long time ago. To your mother." The cup slipped from her hands. It hit the floor and rolled. the tea soaking into the carpet. Her voice shook. You knew my mother? The man nodded. He sat down in the chair across from her. For a few seconds, neither of them spoke. Then he picked up a small device from the table. It looked like a broken remote, but when he pressed the button, a soft blue light filled the room. A hologram appeared. It was a woman, tall, silver skin, kind eyes. She looked like the girl. She was smiling. If you're seeing this, the woman's voice said, then my daughter has survived. The girl couldn't move. Her breath caught in her throat. It was her mother. Alive in memory. She came to Earth once, the man explained. Years ago, she was part of a mission, a peaceful one. I was a young scientist then. We worked together. And we became friends. The girl stared at him. But Earth attacked us, she said. He nodded slowly. They were afraid. They didn't trust your kind. I couldn't stop what happened. But I made her a promise. If anything happened to her or your people, I would find you. His voice dropped. And I did. The girl stood up, her legs shaking. Why did no one help me before? She asked. I slept outside for weeks. People saw me. They didn't see you, the man said quietly. They saw what they feared. He paused, then walked to a large shelf on the wall. He pulled out a thick metal book. Not paper, technology. He opened it. Inside were pictures, maps, and files. You are not the first to fall here, he said. There were others like you. Some survived. Some didn't. He showed her a page, 4 photos. Different alien children. All looked tired. Lost. 3 were crossed out. Only one was still clear. Hers. She looked at him with wide eyes. You knew I would come, I hoped, he said. I watched the skies for years, tracked signals. Caught a distress beacon from your ship when it entered Earth's atmosphere. That's how I found you. Why didn't you come sooner? I couldn't. Too many eyes watching, too many enemies. Suddenly, the lights in the house flickered. The girl turned her head. A low humming sound came from behind a wall. She stepped closer, confused. There was no door, just a blank wall. What's back there? She asked. The man stood quickly. Not yet, you're not ready. But the girl walked forward. As she touched the wall, it disappeared, like a screen turning off. Behind it was a dark room. Inside, something was glowing. She stepped in. The room was cold. Machines lined the walls. In the center was a glass pod. Inside the pod was a creature, tall, thin, with silver skin like hers. Tubes ran through its body. Eyes closed. Barely breathing. The man rushed in after her. I said not yet, he warned. She stared at the pod. Her voice cracked. Who is this? He looked down. His hands trembled slightly. Another one who fell before you. I saved him too. But I was too late. The creature inside the pod moved. Its eyes opened. It looked at the girl and mouthed 2 silent words. Run. Now. The girl stepped back, heart pounding. She turned to the man. His face was pale. Who are you really? She asked. He looked at her, eyes dark now, and said, I'm not just a human. Not anymore. The light inside the hidden room was not from this world. It moved like water. It pulsed like a heartbeat. It had no color, just a soft, shifting glow that made the air feel heavy. The girl took one slow step forward. Each breath felt strange. Like the room itself was watching her, listening, waiting. The creature in the pod, eyes now open, was still. But its warning echoed in her mind. Run. Now behind her, the man entered the room. His calm face was gone. Now his eyes were full of fear. Not of the girl, but of what she might remember. Step away from it, he said quietly. She turned to face him. Who is he? A survivor, he said. From your planet, like me? He paused. No. Not like you. The girl looked back at the pod. The being inside had silver skin. Thin arms, faint marks on the face, old scars. But his eyes bright green looked like hers once did, before the war. Before she forgot everything. She placed her hand on the glass dot in that moment. The pod reacted. A small flash of blue passed through the room. The air trembled. Machines beeped. A voice broken, low, not human whispered through the speakers. She remembers. The girl fell to her knees. A sharp pain hit her head. Visions came fast like lightning, a burning sky, ships falling, her mother's voice. A small hand pulling her into a capsule. A promise. They will take care of you. Her body shook. What did you do to me? She asked. The man looked away. I saved you, he said. But to save you, I had to take your memories. She stood up slowly. Her voice was cold now. You erased my past? I hid it. To protect you. You were just a child. You had something they wanted. I couldn't let them find it. She stepped closer. What did they want? He looked her in the eyes. Your blood. He walked to a small table and pulled out a small metal tube. Inside it was glowing liquid, blue, bright, alive. This came from you. It's not just blood, it's memory, power, code. Your DNA holds something ancient, a message or maybe a weapon. We don't know. He paused, but others want it. And if they get it, everything dies. The girl looked back at the pod. Who is he to me? She asked again. The man's voice softened. Your brother. She froze. I couldn't save both of you, he continued. His ship was damaged. He's been in stasis for years, waiting, fading. The girl stepped back, her legs shaking. All these years. She wasn't alone. She just didn't remember. Suddenly, a loud bang shook the house. Alarms started flashing red. The man grabbed a screen on the wall. A camera showed dark shapes outside, figures in black armor. Unmarked, silent. They found us, he whispered. The girl's eyes widened. Who are they? Not human, not alien. Something in between. He looked at her with urgency. They want what's in your blood. They will take it. Even if it kills you. The pod hissed. It was waking up. Her brother's voice came again, clearer this time. You must choose. Run or remember. The man pressed a switch. A small panel opened. In the wall. Inside, 2 small capsules. Escape pods. He held one out to her. Take it. Go. You're not ready to fight. But she didn't move. She looked at her brother. Then at the man. I'm not a child anymore, she said. And I won't run again. Her hands started to glow, soft blue light dancing across her fingers. For the first time, she felt it. Not fear. Power. She looked back one last time at the room, the machines, the memories. And then she turned to face the door. Because the real battle had just begun. The house was alive. Not like a living thing with a heart, but alive in a way that felt cold and smart. As the girl stepped into the hallway, the walls lit up on their own. Blue lines ran across the surface like veins under skin. Doors opened without touch. Lights followed her footsteps. This wasn't a normal house. It was a machine, a hidden base, a trap, or a sanctuary. She didn't know which yet. Behind her, the man followed slowly. He looked older now, tired. The mask of calm was gone. His face showed fear of what was outside and of what was coming. They're inside the city, he said. They've broken through the radar walls. Who are they? She asked. He took a deep breath. We call them collectors. They are not from your world or mine. They were made during the war. Machines mixed with human minds. Built to gather what the world feared most, alien power. The girl touched a wall. It responded. A map of Earth appeared marked with red dots. Cities, labs, hidden stations. How many? She whispered. Hundreds, he said. Most of them underground. Most of them failed. This one survived. She turned to face him. Why here? Because this house was never meant to be a home, he said. It was meant to be a cage, to hold things like you. In secret, the floor rumbled. A soft alarm started to ring. The man walked to a panel and pressed his palm against it. A hidden room opened. Inside were weapons, old, strange, not from Earth. Some looked broken. Some were still glowing. These were taken from the battlefield, he said. Your battlefield. She stepped inside, eyes wide. One weapon looked like it had grown from metal. Another had lights moving like liquid. These belong to my people, she said. They did, he replied. Now they belong to you. The screen on the wall blinked again. A face appeared, half human, half machine. Its voice was slow, cold. Emotionless. Target located. Extraction begins now. The girl stepped back. They found us. The man nodded. And they won't stop. Suddenly, the screen cracked. Sparks flew. The voice cut off. The girl looked around. What was that? The man's eyes narrowed. They're inside the system. The house is no longer ours. The hallway lights turned red. A door slammed shut behind them. The house, the same one that gave her safety, was now turning into a prison. The man grabbed a small cube from the wall. Emergency core, he said. It holds every file, every memory of your kind we've ever found. He placed it in her hands. If I don't make it, he said, this cube must reach the stars. Others are out there, waiting. This will lead them home. The girl looked at him. Her voice was shaking. I'm not a hero. No, he said softly. You're something rarer. You're a survivor. And survivors change the world. Outside, the sound of metal feet echoed. The walls shook. The collectors were close. The man opened a trapdoor under the floor. Go. I'll stay. I'll slow them down. But the girl didn't move. She turned to the wall and reached out her glowing hand. Suddenly, the lights turned blue again. The house reacted not to him, but to her. She's linked, the man whispered. She's controlling the system. The house had chosen her. She spoke one word, open. A hidden path appeared behind the wall. They ran in the final room. They reached a round platform, an old teleport gate, half-dash broken, that the man touched a button. The gate lit up. One jump left, he said. It can take you to the mountains. There's a signal tower there. If you reach it, you can call the last beacon ship. And you? She asked. He smiled weakly. I was never meant to leave. She looked back as she stepped onto the gate. The walls were cracking. Shadows moved behind glass. The collectors were almost in. The man raised a small device. Go, now. She stared at him, then whispered, thank you for opening the door. The platform flashed. Light swallowed her. She was gone. The man turned to face the hallway. The last door burst open, and the house began to fight. She woke up in the sky, not falling, not flying, just floating. The world below was gone. The stars above were quiet. Around her, pieces of memories drifted like glass in water. A silver tree. A warm voice. 3 suns shining over blue fields. Then fire, screams, a ship breaking apart. A small hand pulling her into a pod. Her brother's voice. Don't forget who you are. But she had until now. She opened her eyes. The mountain wind hit her face. The teleport gate behind her sparked and died. She was alone again. But something inside her was different. The pain in her head was gone. And the silence wasn't silent anymore. She could hear it. A hum deep in her blood. A song from her homeworld. A signal that had always been there. She had just forgotten how to listen. She looked down the mountain in the distance. A black ship hovered above the city. It was feeding, pulling data, pulling life, pulling memory. The collectors were growing stronger. And the man who saved her was likely gone. But now she had a choice, hide or remember. She walked out. The snow crunched under her feet. Each step felt lighter, not because the path was easy, but because her mind was clearing. Hours passed. She reached a cave marked on the cube he gave her. Inside, ancient markings lit up as she entered. The walls began to glow. One by one, symbols danced across the stone showing her story. A girl born of light, a twin, a protector, a mother who gave her power, and a father who gave her hope. The war had come too fast, too cruel. Her people created a memory shield to hide her identity until the right moment. And now, that moment had come. The cube activated. A voice filled the cave. Her mother, if you are hearing this, my child, then your memory has returned. You carry a seed inside you, not a weapon, not destruction, but rebirth, a code that can rebuild what was lost. That's why they hunt you. That's why you must survive. You are not the end. You are the beginning. The girl closed her eyes. Tears fell not of sadness, but of clarity. All this time, she had been running from something inside her, but now she saw it clearly. She was not just a refugee, not just a survivor. She was a key. Suddenly, the cave shook. Outside, the sound of engines. The collectors had tracked the signal. The cube glowed bright. Then, it spoke again. One final message. Use your voice. It will awaken the last beacon. Speak the name of your true self. She stood tall, the glow returning to her hands. The collectors came into view, 3 of them, tall black armor. No faces, they raised their weapons. She raised her voice. I am Elari. The cave exploded with light, not fire, not energy, but memory. Every tree, every stone, every part of the mountain began to shine. The signal tower above lit up, brighter than any star. From the sky, something answered, a sound like thunder, a ship old silver, and smooth like glass came down through the clouds. It was her people's ship, the last one. The collectors fired. The blasts hit her shield. It shimmered, absorbed, then cracked. She screamed, not in pain, but in power. The mountain shook. A wave of light spread from her body, pushing everything back. The collectors vanished like dust in the wind. The ship landed. Its door opened. Inside stood a figure tall, silver-skinned, glowing eyes. Her brother. Alive. Awake. He held out his hand. Elari, he said, smiling. You came back. She stepped forward. For the first time she smiled too. I remember everything now, she said. But as they turned to board the ship, a distant sound came through the wind. A voice-broken human. It was him. The man from the house. Alive, barely. Calling her name. She turned to look. The past and the future were both waiting. The snow had stopped falling. The sky was burning red. Elari stood at the edge of the ship's ramp, her brother beside her, her hands still glowing from the last burst of memory light. She had just remembered who she was. She had just called her people home, and now she heard his voice, the man who opened the door. It came through the mountain wind, cracked and weak. Double quotes. Elari. Help. Her eyes snapped toward the sound. She saw him, broken, crawling, clothes torn, blood on his face. He was alive, somehow. But behind him came the shadows. They weren't walking anymore. They were floating. 5 collectors, bigger, upgraded. Their armor pulsed with red lines. Their faces gone, replaced with black glass. And on their backs, long metal spines like open claws. The ship's engine started humming, ready to leave. Her brother placed a hand on her arm. Elari, we must go. Now. But she didn't move. Her eyes stayed on the man, the one who gave her warmth, who gave her shelter, who gave her back her past. She couldn't leave him behind. She stepped off the ramp. Her brother shouted, "No!" But she was already running. The snow cracked under her feet as she raced toward him. The collectors turned. Sensing her energy, one of them raised its arm blades, unfolded like wings. It fired. She dropped to her knees, sliding across the ice, grabbing the man and raising her hand. A shield burst from her palm, thin, blue, flickering. The blast hit. The ground exploded. Smoke covered everything. Silence. Then, her voice low but clear. "I'm not afraid anymore." She stood, holding the man in her arms. Behind her, her glow turned white hot. The collectors moved in fast, deadly, precise. She didn't run. She rose. The mountain air shook as her powers fully awakened. She didn't need weapons. She was the weapon. With one hand, she lifted the snow into a storm. With the other, she pushed light forward like a wave. Each step she took cracked the ground beneath her. The first collector lunged. She blinked, and it shattered like glass under lightning. Her brother arrived, fighting beside her. The ship hovered low, covering them with shields. But the collectors were learning. They began to merge, 5 forms becoming one, a massive shape with 1,000 eyes and no soul. It roared, a sound that hurt the air. Even her brother stepped back. Alari looked at the man. He was barely conscious, still alive, still trying. She smiled sadly, then turned toward the monster. "You were built to collect," she said. "But I am not here to give, I'm here to take everything back." She raised both hands. The sky split open, the beacon tower above, then lit up like a star being born. Its energy poured into her body, into her blood, into her voice. She screamed, not in fear, but in power. The fusion collector charged toward her. She walked forward. Each step burned the snow, melted the metal, bent the wind. The creature struck. She caught its blow and broke its arm like wood. Then, with her final surge of light, she opened her hands and spoke the final command from her mother's message: "Restore." The light was not a weapon. It was memory. The creature didn't explode. It unraveled. Its metal became roots. Its body became dust. Its red eyes faded into white. It was over. The mountain fell silent again. No more collectors. No more war. Just snow and sky. And the girl who remembered. She fell to her knees, exhausted. Her brother rushed to her. The man, injured, bloody, smiled at her weakly. "You remembered," he said. She nodded. "You were right," she whispered. "I wasn't ready before, but I am now." The ship landed fully. Doors opened. Inside were other survivors, like her, children, elders, all waiting for her signal. She looked around one last time. At the man, at the mountain, at the world that once shut every door on her. Now, she was the one holding the key. She turned to the man. "You can't stay here," she said. "Come with us." He smiled faintly. "I opened the door for you," he said. "Now go open it for the others." She stepped into the ship. The door closed. The engines lifted. And from high above, Alari looked down at Earth. One last time. The stars no longer looked like dots in the sky. From the window of the ship, they looked like path lines waiting to be followed, worlds waiting to be healed. Alari stood in silence. Behind her, the survivors rested. Some were sleeping. Some were crying. Some were looking at her like she was something more than just a girl. But she wasn't a god. She wasn't a hero. She was just a child who slept on doorsteps. Until someone opened the door. Now, she was the one flying the ship. They passed through space quietly. The ship was old, but alive. It remembered her kind. It welcomed her like a daughter. When she walked through its halls, lights followed. Voices whispered. Walls sang softly in a language only her heart understood. Each room had memories. Her people, their laughter, their last messages. And now, it would carry something new. Hope. She stopped at a large door inside the ship. It opened with a soft sound. Inside was a white chamber, empty, silent. This room was meant to be a command center, but she had another idea. She looked at her brother. "We're not just flying away," she said. "No," he replied. "We're going back. Back to the outer rim planets. Back to the broken colonies. Back to the others who were still waiting in the dark. Because she wasn't the last of her kind. She was the first to return. Suddenly, a sound came from the ship's console. A distress call, audio-only static. Then a small voice. If anyone can hear me, please, I'm not from here. I don't belong. Alari's heart skipped out another voice. Like hers once was, alone, scared, waiting. Brother looked at her. She didn't wait. Set a course, she said. Bring them home. The ship moved faster. The stars blurred. The sound of the engines hummed. Like a promise, hours passed. Then they saw it. A small planet. Cold, gray, forgotten. A single signal pulsed from the surface. One child, one lost soul. Alari landed the ship. Softly. She stepped outside alone. The wind was cold, just like the first night she arrived on Earth. But this time, she wasn't weak. She wasn't looking for help. She was the help. She found the child. Near a building, small, thin, eyes glowing faintly. He didn't run. He just looked up at her. Afraid to speak, she knelt down and said gently, "Are you waiting for someone to open the door?" The child nodded. "I waited too," she said, "for a long time." She held out her hand. "Come inside, forever." The child took her hand. They walked back to the ship. The engines glowed. And the stars opened once more. Inside the ship, others greeted the child with warm smiles and blankets. For the first time, he looked less afraid. He whispered, "Who are you?" Alari smiled. "I'm someone who was forgotten," she said. "But I remembered." He looked around. "Where are we going?" She paused at the window, looking out at the stars. "We're not running anymore," she said. "We're building something new." Later, as the ship moved through space, Ilari returned to the white chamber. She stood before the console, took a deep breath, and activated the beacon system. A new message began to broadcast across the galaxy, simple, soft, but clear. If you are lost, if your home is gone, if no one ever opened the door for you, come inside, forever, the message repeated. Again and again. Like a lighthouse in the dark. And in 1,000 distant corners of the stars, tiny lights began to answer.